Hello everyone, my name is Lacey, this is Sekhmet, and you are watching Reptiles. So today, work is stressful, life is stressful, and sometimes people ask you questions like, why would you ever want to have a snake? They don't cuddle you, they don't play with you, they're icky, they're slimy, they're weird. Why would you want a snake? Why would I want a snake? Snakes are not dogs, they're not cats. I love dogs, I love cats, I love animals. Animals are great. But snakes are something just a little different. You know they don't love you, right? They don't feel that kind of bond like a cat will or a dog will. They don't greet you at the door, right? They're living in their houses, not being like a mammal. But why would you want a pet snake? I like snakes because all right, we're gonna be in the shirt. So if you have a snake, they're not gonna act like a mammal. They're gonna act like a snake. They are very methodical, they're very chill, they're very cool. And I think there's something different to handling a snake than it is to petting my cat or petting a dog, playing with a dog. Because snakes, you gotta move with them, right? Like this snake is clearly just doing whatever she wants. Cat also doing whatever he wants. But a snake, you have to support, if you're handling them, you have to support their body, you have to be very aware of what they're doing to make sure that they're safe and comfortable. And it's very relaxing to hang out with a snake, especially a bigger snake like John Cena or Lieutenant Dan, compared to someone small and squishy like Sekhmet here. It's very relaxing. You just handle them. Sometimes they go in your shirt. Hold please. Sometimes they live in your shirt and you have to take them out. But they're very slow moving. They're very relaxing. And if I'm feeling overwhelmed or if I had a rough week at work because you're switching to a new computer system, that can be very stressful. And there's just something about coming home and hanging out with a slow moving, chill little gal or guy. And because just like, it's like meditative, right? Like you're just focusing on hanging out with them, keeping them supported, making sure they're not gonna crawl off your hand and fall and hurt themselves. And they're just nice. They're very cool. None of my snakes are darty, fast moving snakes, like a garter snake would be, or maybe like a corn snake or a bull snake. Very active snakes, those are. But like a slow moving snake, like a sand boa, ball python boa, they're very relaxing. They're very chill. They're very, very zen, right? And I mean, it's nice. You don't have to feed them every day. Big fan of that. Like some animals, Lump, Sylvester, by the way. You don't have to clean their litter box. You just have to clean every now and again. They're just nice. You know, they interact with you when they're kind of cool with it. They hang out with you. They do their little tongue flicks and they have doopy little faces like that. And they're very cool. They're very neat. And if I feel like it's hard to say that you like animals and then just be like, oh, well, not snakes. No, snakes are gross. Is that gross? Is this little lady gross? She's silly. She's goofy. She's a goofy little lady. She's very chill. She's very chill. She does like to explore. Once she's out, she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna check everything out. She's very curious and likes to explore her surroundings. But like I said, it's very meditative and very cool. I've always liked snakes, always, since I was like a kid. And we'd had a pet, I think it was a boa, in preschool. That was our class pet, was like a boa constrictor. And our teacher, Mr. Davies, he wanted us to know that snakes are more afraid of you than you are of them. Because in Southern California, we were lousy with like rattlesnakes. western diamondbacks, mountain rattlesnakes, all sorts of critters. And he wanted us to have a respect for the natural world, and especially those creatures that might be a little different from us and a little scary than us, or a little scarier than some other animals. So we can love them and respect them and know, give them their space and they'll give you your space. And they're really cool. I understand how people can be, you know, kind of afraid of snakes and how think they're scary, think they're icky, because you're gonna fear things that aren't like you. Snakes have no hair, they're cold-blooded, we're warm-blooded, and their motivations are a little more different than ours would be. They want different things. And I think it is so interesting to try to understand and care for and allow to thrive something that is so different from yourself. Isn't that right, Ladybug? And I love showing pictures of Sekhmet to people, because anytime someone's like afraid of a snake or be like, oh, I don't know about snakes, they're kind of scary, right? And I'll be like, let me show you the least scary snake on the planet, the least intimidating creature on this earth, because she looks like she was drawn by a 5-year-old from memory. She's just a big squishy, eyes on top of her head, a little goofball. She's the least intimidating creature, and she's very chill. She's bit me precisely one time, and that was my fault, because I didn't know where she was, and I was cleaning her enclosure, and she just popped up and got me because she was like, oh, is this food? And then she was like, oh, this is not food. And she realized she couldn't eat me, and she let go. It didn't even hurt. It was just surprising, because she moves, for someone so squishy, she moves very fast. But I can understand why people would be afraid of snakes, because they're different. They don't have legs. They're like the opposite of what we're used to with like cats and dogs. And they're just neat. They're good. So if you like snakes, yeah, that's cool. If you like lizards, that's cool. You just like the weird creatures that are a little different, just like you. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about snakes and like why they're cool. Like, they're neat. They're relaxing. They're cool to look at. Like fun to watch them move and to hang out with them and hold them and handle them and watch them move so slowly and explore. And they're just so smooth. And Sekhmet here is even cooler because she starts out smooth by her head, but by her tail, you can kind of see it's very bumpy. It's very textured because it helps her to grip the substrate in the sand to help propel her in her natural environment. And fun story, Kenyan sand boas are not the only sand boas. And maybe one of these days I'll do a video on other sand boas. If you would like to know more about other sand boas, let me know, because sand boas are cool. And there are more than just this pretty lady in the world. Huh, girlfriend? Huh, girly pop? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But yeah, like having like a creature not be afraid of you and just like kind of chill and be your homie when it's something that other people are afraid of is really cool. And just shows you that just because something is different and just because something isn't like you doesn't mean you have to be afraid of it. And you can apply that to all sorts of areas of your life, that just because someone or something is different doesn't mean they're a threat, doesn't mean they're scary, and they're just something that you need to learn more about. And once you learn more about something that frightens you or intimidates you or, you know, kind of makes you a little uncomfy, once you learn more about it, it becomes less scary and it becomes more interesting and it can enrich your life and make it better. Same with people, right? Same with everything. The more you learn, the happier you are, the more interesting and fabulous life is. So that's it, friends. I just wanted to sit down and share my friend with you, share my thoughts. I didn't really have a video prepared today because I'm tired this week. It was a rough week. But if you like snakes, if you like reptiles, put it in the comment below. Why do you like snakes and reptiles? Why do you like these cold-blooded little cuties? Why are they interesting to you? Or if you're watching this and you're like, snakes are scary, Mom. If you're watching this and you're like, snakes are scary, why Share with us, why are you afraid of them? What would it take for you to maybe be a little less nervous around them? Would it be hanging out with a derpy little lady like this? A nice, slow-moving, non-threatening little goofball. But anyway, friends, as always, never stop learning, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. See ya!